This administration also moved, the Department of Justice also moved to unseal grand jury testimony, which we know, unfortunately, a judge declined those requests. So this administration has done more than any, and it just shows how this is truly a manufactured hoax by the Democrat Party. For now, they're talking about it all of a sudden because President Trump is in the Oval Office. But when Joe Biden was sitting in there, the Democrats never brought this up. This wasn't an issue that they cared about because they actually don't care about the victims in these cases. They care about trying to score political points against President Trump, as we have, of course, seen with this government shutdown. And this entire thing, again, it's not a coincidence to the American people at home. There are no coincidences in Washington, D.C. And it is not a coincidence that the Democrats leaked these emails to the fake news this morning ahead of Republicans reopening the government. These emails prove absolutely nothing other than the fact that President Trump did nothing wrong. And what President Trump has always said is that he was from Palm Beach, and so was Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein was a member at Mar-a-Lago until President Trump kicked him out because Jeffrey Epstein was a pedophile and he was a creep. And this email you refer to with the name of a victim that was unredacted now and has since been reported on in this room, so I will go ahead and say it, Virginia Giuffre. And it was CBS's own reporting, Ouija, that recently wrote that Miss Giuffre maintained, and God rest her soul, that she maintained that there was nothing inappropriate she ever witnessed, that President Trump was always extremely professional and friendly to her. And so I think it's a question worth asking the Democrat Party, and you should all go ask them after this briefing, of why they chose to redact that name of a victim who has already publicly made statements about her relationship with Jeffrey Epstein and is unfortunately no longer with us.
Democrats have released new emails which they claim raise serious questions about Donald Trump's relationship with the convicted pedophile Jeffrey Epstein. In the emails, Jeffrey Epstein asserts that the US president spent hours at his house with one of the unnamed victims. The White House has claimed that the emails are a smear campaign against the US president. Mark Stone explains now what the emails have revealed so far.
One email I'm going to pull out to you was written by Jeffrey Epstein to Ghislaine Maxwell, his girlfriend. He, of course, now dead. She is in prison in the United States. The email was written in April 2011. And he says to her, I want you to realize that the dog that hasn't barked is Trump. He then goes on to name a victim. That name has been redacted. He says, victim spent hours at my house with him, with Trump, so alleges Jeffrey Epstein. He has never once been mentioned. Police chief, etc. I'm 75% there. So there is an allegation. Incidentally, Ghislaine Maxwell replies, I have been thinking about that. So there is an allegation from Jeffrey Epstein that a victim, unnamed, but who has since been named by the White House, and I'll come to that, spent hours at my Epstein's house with him, Donald Trump. So that is one email of clearly of significance. There are others too. I won't go into those in detail right now, but as I say, we're analysing them all, and so stay tuned and go onto our app and website as well, where we'll have plenty more. Now, the White House responded, Mark, to those three initial emails, one of which I just read out there. Caroline Leavitt is the press secretary. She released a statement earlier today where she said the Democrats selectively leaked emails to the liberal media to create a fake narrative to smear President Trump. The unnamed victim, that's the one in the email I just read, referenced in these emails is the late Virginia Giuffre, who repeatedly said that President Trump was not involved in any wrongdoing whatsoever and, quote, couldn't have been friendlier to her in their limited interactions. The statement goes on to say, the fact remains that President Trump kicked Jeffrey Epstein out of his club decades ago for being a creep to his female employees, including Giuffre. And it concludes, these stories are nothing more than bad faith efforts to distract from President Trump's historic accomplishments, and any American with common sense sees right through this hoax and clear distinction from the government. Distraction from the government opening back up again. That a reference to the fact that the federal government remains in shutdown. So a robust defense of President Trump by his press secretary, Caroline Leavitt. A bit of context briefly to that. Virginia Giuffre, she is the woman photographed with Andrew in that now infamous photo. She worked at Mar-a-Lago, Donald Trump's property down in Florida many years ago. So that is the context there. There is going to be a lot more that comes out of this.